As Black women especially, it is very hard for us to say, I need something. And then in a space of grief, for you, it's even harder because the person who you would naturally call
Yep, the
is
only
not here.
person.
Absolutely. Hi everyone, it's me, Dr. Tosh, and we are back with another episode of our series, Operation Heal, A Black Woman's Mind. I'm really excited because we have an opportunity to hear from another one of my new friends, Miss Sophia Peaks, and she's going to tell us all about herself and then about her journey to healing. Very nice to meet you, Sophia,
You as well.
and thank you for talking with me today, right? So why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself?
I am a full-time mom first, a full-time real estate agent with Harris Hawkins & Co., and also a full-time property manager.
I see it. I see it. Product placement. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, so full-time everything.
So I'm going to say that's 3 full times.
Yes, 3 full-times.
Okay. 3 full times. Good for you.
Thank you.
So of those 3, which do you think is the hardest?
They all play a part,
Yeah.
but right now the hardest is the full-time mom right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely right now. I feel like everything else, the real estate and the property management, I can manage and I have a good hold on it. But that mom, yeah, it's a little different right now for me.
It is, and one of the reasons I'm assuming that it's a little different for you too is that you're now having to do this alone.
Yes.
Okay. So talk to me a little bit about you being a fiance and then it not going the way you had planned.
Yeah. So I was with my fiance for 9 years, actually. We have 5 children together. He had 3, I have 2. And we actually got engaged on October 29th. So I waited a really long time. We got engaged on October 29th, and then he passed away on November 1st. So it was a very short period of time that we were engaged, but it almost feels weird saying fiance just because of the short period of time, but yeah, still my fiance.
Absolutely. Very, very quick.
Yes.
Period of time.
Yes.
And what year was that?
2021, last year. Yep.
So this has really been at this point about 7-8 months.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
How are you holding up?
I have my days. Some days I'm not up at all, and then other days I'm just really just going with the flow. I honestly don't even sometimes know what I'm doing. I'm just flowing. I'm just flowing, especially with the children and friends and family. It's just what that day brings. I kind of take it on and go with it.
Yeah. So one of the things you talked about is being a parent, right? Being a mom and having a blended family. But not necessarily viewing step half all of it, right? Just our family is our family, our kids are our kids. How have you been able to talk with them about the loss of Dad?
It's really each day what they're feeling or what I'm feeling. I take on being a mom. I'm a very open mother. I do talk to them. Sometimes it may seem too open. It may seem too open to some people just because I'm really real about everything that they feel and I feel, and I give it to them as if I was to talk with my friend. Of course, it's not on that particular level, but I'm just open. So whatever they're feeling and they come to me about, I really just give them the harsh truth, kind of to say. And it really hasn't been anything that I could prepare for, so to speak.
Right.
It's more so of, I didn't even know you were feeling this way, or I may even catch them just sleeping all day and me having to get myself together to even ask them if they're okay because I'm not okay.
Right.
So I literally take everything day by day.
Absolutely.
And speaking with them, I feel like they have come to me more open just because of my approach that I've been with them for forever. That's just been my approach, to be open and honest and straight to the point with them. So I do feel like now that we're going through this together, being like that, they've come to me naturally, and we just try to get through it together.
Right. Have you noticed that maybe they come to you to check on you?
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
Is that an odd feeling?
It is very odd.
Yeah.
It is very odd because I feel like I can't feel in front of them. I feel like I have to grieve for them before I grieve for myself. So for them to ask me, am I okay? Or how am I feeling? It's almost like I'm stuck, like, well, wait a minute.
Right. What am I supposed to say now? Right.
I don't know. So yes, it is a weird feeling for them to ask.
Absolutely. Because, in talking about us as Black women, right, it is very odd for us to admit when we're not okay.
Yeah.
Especially the children or anyone who we care for, right, in the sense of like we're a caregiver for them. We make sure that they're straight, that they're okay. It is very odd. Now, we can say I'm frustrated or I'm upset with you because maybe you've done something wrong. Like as kids, if you didn't do well in school or something, I can articulate to you that I'm upset with you about that. But it is hard to say I'm not okay and I'm hurting, right? Pain is a very hard emotion for us as women to convey. People tend to think we can convey pain a lot. Y'all are emotional, etc. People tend to think that. But it is very hard as a woman to say, I am hurting behind the following. So when your kids ask you and you kind of put on a good face for them in that moment, who do you go to say I'm not okay?
My best friend.
Good. Yeah.
Yes, I do go to my best friend. And even still with that, because she was so close with him as well, it's kind of like I have put on this, I guess, guard to really allow other people to grieve before I go into how I feel or what I'm feeling that day. Or what I'm grieving that day, honestly, because I don't feel like I'm just grieving his loss. I lost a best friend. I lost my man. So it's a lot that I grieve, or I should say a lot of phases that I feel like I grieve.
Yes.
One day I feel like I just really need my friend.
Yep.
And
absolutely.
The other day I'll say I need that father for these kids because they get on my nerves.
Right.
So it's
right.
So it's a lot. I do go to my best friend. I do give a lot or unload on her, but not 100% still. So I don't have anyone that I unload 100% on.
When you said something, and I anticipated what you were going to say, and I said, because there is a theme that's developing on this sofa, which is even with my support system, and this is not saying that your support system isn't saying this to you, it's the message that we tell ourselves. Even with my support system being there for me, sometimes I'll hold off on it because they got their own grief in this, right? That theme is developing on this sofa today. And I connect with that, right? Because again, it's so easy for us to say, they got to go through it. Let me let them go through it. Or maybe I call them to talk and I could hear that they're off. And so it changes. I pivot. And now let me just play off what I was talking about.
Yep.
And then I get off the phone, right? And you still didn't feel heard. Which is then when you go into, I miss my best friend because my best friend would hear me.
Yes.
Right? And that is something that we do. And we do it because and this is what we have been kind of told in life, we never want to make waves for anybody else, right? But that can be to the destruction and the detriment of our own healing process. So naturally, your best friend is going to have moments of grief in losing a person who's been a part of your friend's life too, right? But then you put your grief on hold because the kids got to have their grief.
Yep.
I'm grieving for the kids losing their father. I'm grieving for this person losing their whatever your fiance was to them, right? My best friend is grieving because I know this is hard for them too. Where does that leave Sophia in her healing?
I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I am. I honestly feel like just the past month, I find myself asking, okay, are you grieving now? Are you? Because it's just different feelings that are coming out, and they're not all bad. They're not all bad. I do have some days where I wake up super grateful, and I'm just like, is this a part of healing?
Yeah, right.
I'm questioning myself, and I'm writing so I can remember. So I literally feel like I'm learning. I'm really trying to figure out how to maneuver through my time of grief now.
Yes.
And I feel like it is actually starting now, or it has started the past month, and I'm just going with the flow, trying to figure it out. Some days I'm okay with it, other days I'm like, what is this?
Yes.
And but each day I'm really just trying to process and transition and make sure that I'm aware of what I'm going through. So that's why I like to write it down so I can go back to it and say, oh, okay, well, maybe I was grieving. I'll Google something fast. And it may not even be accurate, but I just feel like right now I just have to find my way of maneuvering outside of anybody else.
Absolutely. You know, I think journaling is always a really, really helpful way of healing. I even encourage you to look at, when you go back and you look over your entries, even look at your handwriting, right? Like when I'm happy, I write a certain way. When I'm angry, I write a certain way.
Okay.
When I am in pain, I write a certain way. And that's just the slope of my handwriting. Or did I include slang that I wouldn't normally say? You know, when you're happy, you're trying to write stuff all pretty, like Moesha, right, in the diary, right? You know, dear diary, you know what I mean? You in your mind, you're doing that, right? You know, but then when it's times when I feel like, so I got to do life by myself because you want to be gone. Right?
Listen.
That's a statement, right? Where it's, so what you're telling me is I got to do this alone.
Really?
Oh, okay.
Really?
Question
mark, question mark,
question mark. You know, or I meant to say this to you on Tuesday, and I'm gonna say it today, right? You know, you have that, right? It's a part of your grieving process, and so I encourage you when you're going back and looking at your journals to see that, to see if it wasn't a good day for 3 days, what was that time period about for you, right? A part of grief too is to almost anticipate when some days won't be good days. Father's Day, hard day, right? Because you think about, for you think about the kids. Yeah. It's hard. You know, you think about birthdays, you think about holidays, if those are things that people celebrate. You think about this would have been our 1-year proposal, right? And those things will come up, and you anticipate them not being good days. And then as a part of your healing, it's going to change, and you'll bring on happy memories. That does not mean, and I think one of the things that's so important that for everyone to understand about grief is a process that ebbs and flows, right? So one year Father's Day is happy. Happy memories. We're going to all go to a baseball game or whatever a dad liked to do. And then the next Father's Day can be a sad one. It really just depends. You could be having a great day and a song comes on the radio and you're like, now today's not a good day. That's a part of grief. And it's not unhealthy. It only becomes unhealthy when we ignore it. Okay. Right? So I encourage you as you're starting this journey to feel that. When it's a good day, I think it sounds like the kids are even communicating it to you. You all in the house, I think, have your way of now communicating good day, not so good day. Maybe this kid is sleeping in more than they normally do. That's their sign that right now is not a good day. And you get to determine the rules in your own home. So if our own home, one of the ways that we communicate that it's not the best day is if you sleeping a little bit longer. Okay, now I'm going to check on you. And we can't do this every day.
Right.
And that's not because it's something wrong. That's because that means we're stuck in a space.
Yes.
So I really encourage you to do that with the kids too.
Okay.
And this part is going to feel foreign for you. Tell them how they'll know it's not a good day for mommy. That's going to be hard for you.
Okay.
Because you got to be vulnerable with the kids, right? But remember, because we control and create the rules in our house, it doesn't have to be, hey kids, it's not a good day for mommy. This is what I'm going through. No, it doesn't have to be that. Let's just say that one of the ways we know it's not a good day for mommy is after breakfast, etc. She's just in her room and she tells me, I'm going to go take a nap. I'll be out in a couple of hours. That's how we know, let mommy be today. Because one of the things you said was, I grieve differently based upon the identity in that moment. Sometimes I'm grieving because my kids lost their father, but I'm also grieving because I lost the person who I was going to do life with. I'm also grieving because I've lost my best friend. You've got to give yourself permission to grieve in that. And that is the hard part for us as women. It's really difficult for us because we take care of everybody.
Yeah.
We'll have a cold, we will have a migraine, we will have cramps, PMS, and a swollen foot, and we will still show up for everybody, right? And literally get upset if someone doesn't tell us what they need. It's who we are. But you're going to have to tell them however they need to know, mommy's not having the best of days, because when that grief cycle is starting for you and it's going to have a moment where it gets dark, right? Kids can get very anxious in that because they've never seen Superwoman fall.
Okay.
Right? So you've got to tell them, if mommy just needs to take a nap for a little while, that's okay. Right? Because you're their Superwoman. Right? You're Wonder Woman. This is the role, right? We're talking about black women. This is the role that we play. We come in, we save the day, we, free the world, we heal it, we do all these things, right? And then we go and we say, you want chicken for dinner tonight? Because I took chicken out. That's what we do, right? So they've never seen Superwoman fall. So it's going to make them very anxious initially. And so that's why it's so important to give them that kind of sign.
Okay.
Now, who else in your life will know that Sophia is not okay today? And I know you have your best friend, but it's going to be so important for you to think about, who else in my system can I just say, it's just not a good day. I might need to go out for the day. I might need to go to dinner. And I don't necessarily want to talk about why it's not a good day. Maybe I just want people watch and laugh, right? It's going to be really important to develop that. Because, again, a part of grief is that it does get dark. And it gets dark when the realization sets in that person is no longer there. And, something you said, the things you planned for life, now you got to do them differently. And so sometimes the vacation is fun, but then you're like, this is not how it's supposed to go. It wasn't supposed to look like this. So you've got to build that system that can just get that. You don't have to process it with them. Processing is for the counselor. You see a counselor for that, right? You develop the system that says, you trying to go get some crabs today? And they know, yep, maybe I wanted to lay on my sofa and watch TV, but Sophia needs crabs today. And so we're going to go get crabs. Because I have the feeling, and I've known you for a whopping 30 minutes, right? But I have the feeling that a lot of people can call you. And you'll do that for them. And not that you can't call people, but you're not used to doing that. So that's the part you got to do. It's going to be hard. We're going to circle back to this conversation in a
Okay.
few months and see how it's gone for you, right? It's going to be difficult, so I won't lie to you about that, because it's again, as Black women especially, and I say this as Black women because it's who we're talking to, but as Black women especially, it is very hard for us to say, I need something, because we're prepared for the letdown,
Yeah.
right? And then in a space of grief for you, it's even harder because the person who you would naturally call
Yep, the
is
only
not here.
person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's hard because now you're not adding on to a support system. You're building a new one
Yeah.
because he's not here.
Yep.
So why don't we honor your fiance? Why don't you tell me a little bit about him?
Wow.
I know he's a dad.
He's definitely an amazing dad.
Okay.
Definitely, definitely. He is also everyone's friend.
Okay.
Literally.
So he can just make a friend no matter where he
Literally.
goes. I connect with that. I will make a friend everywhere. If I need to go to Martha's Vineyard right now, I can go. I just met 2 people. So I get it.
Yes.
I get it. Okay.
Literally everyone's friend, to the point where I felt like I had to kind of step in and do the same thing until I got overwhelmed. Like, yeah, no, I don't know how he did this. I can't do it. Let me call you right back. Let me call you right back. And he was just an all around provider. Anything that he could possibly do to make his family's life and friends' life comfortable, he was just that person.
Wow.
Yeah, literally that person. I felt like he was just getting into his niche of real estate, on the side of investing and flipping. So that's where I am trying to continue on, in his name, in his honor, his legacy of continuing that on. He did have something that we were both in the middle of, that I am trying to carry out.
Good.
It's definitely hard.
Yes, yes.
And hurtful, but I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you're going to go into the investor flipping side to honor him?
I'm in it.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of it.
Okay,
I'm already in the middle of it.
Absolutely.
So I have to finish.
Yes.
And I actually like it. I do.
Okay.
I like it a lot. I mean, my background has been in property management, real estate for 18 years anyway.
Yeah.
I just never tapped into that side. But I seen how excited he was for us to do it together. And so I get a sense of relief when I do it, because
Yes.
it was just him and I. So now it's me. So it's something that I'm doing alone, and I don't have to really kind of answer to or shield how I'm feeling in that moment when I am out in the midst of continuing what we started.
Absolutely.
So I feel a sense of comfort in it, and relief and just peace.
Yeah.
And peace. So I'm okay with continuing it.
Good.
Yeah.
There's peace in knowing that you have the skill set to finish what you all started. And I would say on a spiritual level, there's probably peace for him too, knowing that, gosh, I didn't plan to leave so early, right? But she's got it.
Yeah.
And she's got our kids. Think about it. That's, for parents, that's such an area that I think they need, that in order to rest peacefully, that they need, which is the kids are okay.
Yeah. They're
Right?
definitely going to be okay.
She's got everybody. So now we just make sure Sophia's okay. So that's where we're going to come back here in a couple months.
Okay.
And we're going to make sure, okay, now how you feeling?
I feel nervous.
Yes.
I feel nervous.
I get that.
I
This
feel
is
nervous.
new. This is uncharted territory.
Yeah. Yeah, not a bad nervous, but almost like anxious. Like I want to figure out
Life.
Sophia.
Yeah.
Sophia's healing.
Yep.
Sophia's grief.
Absolutely. Listen, I'm so serious. This is the second theme that you have pulled today on this sofa. The first one has really been not necessarily doing my grieving, because everyone is, I'm doing it for everyone else. And the second one is, I'm anxious to see what life is going to look like for me as I grieve.
Yeah.
And I'm excited, not excited because you have to experience grief, but I'm excited to see that journey that's going to go from grief to healing.
Yeah.
And we'll
Me
come
too.
back and talk about it. All right?
I'm excited.
Good. Well, thank you for sharing this with me.
Thank you
and
for
thank you for
having me.
honoring the life of your fiance. And I'm excited to see you in real estate and moving and shaking and to see how you are not only going to honor him, but how you are going to build your own legacy.
Yeah.
And we'll come back in a couple months and talk.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining for this Operation Heal series of Black Women's Mind. I hope this series has resonated with you the same way it's resonated with me. Don't forget, you can look at all of our Operation Heal series episodes at www.wileyfh.com/operation-heal, or like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Wiley Funeral Homes. I look forward to seeing you soon, and happy healing.